Hi guys, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. All right, guys, thanks for joining. Let's see. Let's just wait for some more guys to join. I think. Uh,
Kevin,
uh,
were you able to find out for us how we can do the project? Because still ain't had nothing yet.
Hi, can you hear me, Joe? Yeah. Okay. So I actually asked around and I found out that so it's actually a tech glitch. Can't really say what exactly is going on, but it's you're gonna get it. You're gonna get access to it. So it's not like it's not there.
Okay.
It's just the
Okay.
platform. They are doing
The
like a
platform.
upgrade of the platform, something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. Yeah, so once they're done
Because
with that,
uh because I created an account and it was just for the DevOps thing that was on there. So
come again.
uh, when I created an account, it was just for DevOps, like the for if you're doing DevOps, there was nothing for cyber security on the Dyro IO
I
website.
yeah, I think yeah, it does. I think it's a web. I think they're working on it too. It's a platform backend stuff. Not it's not
Okay,
a problem. Yeah, 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 not a
okay,
problem.
yeah, no problem.
All right.
Thank you, though.
All right, thanks. Thanks. Okay, let's just give it some time, maybe till 7 or 5 or 6 before we begin. Right?
Okay,
Let me just verify my cameras to work. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. I don't know why we didn't have more people. I was hoping to get more people, but just three of us. That's very poor. That's a very poor number. Uh, all right, I'm sharing my screen now. Let me know when you can see the screen. Let me go. Let me just see if I can find. I can reach out to them, tell them to join.
yes.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. Thank you. I was actually trying to see if you could get more guys to join the call, but we actually have only that's Adonye, Wike, and Joe Mensa. All right. So before I go ahead, we finished the first course, which is the introductory course. The first course had four modules that were in it. The first module we talked about introduction to IT. Then we did a brief overview of cybersecurity. Then we had an introduction to some network fundamentals, basic network concepts. And then we rounded off with talking about some malicious software. So now before we move on, right, I'd like doing a very, very quick recap. So now this is me asking you guys, give me a feedback on the last course. I know we've not yet done the project, right? But before the project, based on the live classes, what have you learned? Do you understand? What do you know? Just basically, just let me get a feel of where we are in terms of our understanding of what we've done so far. So anyone can actually, give me that feedback, please.
Uh, from what I've learned so far, the basic component of IT, the CIA trials, and the AAA. So
Yeah, perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Nothing on network fundamental, nothing on that.
Uh, I'm still reviewing that, so I'm still reviewing
All right,
it. Yeah.
that's good enough. That's good enough. That's fine by me. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So any other person? Wike,
Okay,
Adonye. Yeah.
good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so far I've learned basics of cyber security, the CIA triad, how to protect myself
Okay.
and protect people around me.
Beautiful.
Then the OSI model,
Okay.
the 7 layers of the OSI model, and the TCP
Hmm.
TCPI model.
Yeah. It is PIP.
Yeah, TCP/IP. Then further, you also give us an assignment Though I've been
Beautiful.
seeing DNS. So it was this week that I actually took time to even understand what DNS means.
Good.
And it blew my mind that this DNS that I've been seeing is not as it's not, because I used to call it a domain name server, but
I
it was
see.
when you now mentioned it that I went to look up, and I saw that domain name system, that
Yeah.
DNX is like the phone book of the internet. So
Beautiful.
when you're going to look up a website, you're looking for internet results, you type google.com. But that's what you can remember, just the way that we write people's names in our phone books
Exactly.
instead of writing the phone number. So
The
it's
phone
easier for us
numbers.
to remember. So you type in the domain name, system will the DNS will translate the domain name to the IP address of the internet resource you're looking for. So it really opened up a lot of room for research. Then I also remember virtualization. I had to go
Beautiful.
and look deeper into virtualization. I saw that there are more that we can even do with virtualization, and the benefits of virtualization, that building a virtual machine, what you taught us. So it's really an eye opener. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Wiki. That was actually even much more deeper than I thought. So thank you. All right. So I have Adoni. Yeah. Adoni, do you have any feedback on the first course we've taken?
No, no, teacher. I'm just, this is my first lecture with you.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying
Okay,
to
okay,
catch up
okay. You didn't
with others.
join. You
Yeah.
didn't join at the beginning. All right, that's fine. That's fine. But did you get access to the videos for the past two lectures?
Yes, I've gotten the first videos. I'm still going to look at them so that I'll catch up.
All right, no problem, no problem. That's fine. So thank God we're not going deep yet.
Thank,
All right, so you're welcome, Adoni. All right, guys. So thank you
thank
for
you.
the feedback, Joe. Thank you for the feedback, Wiki. Thank you, Adoni. This I just wanted to get everyone's input and have an idea of where we are, what gaps are existing. You know, because in my opinion, this foundational course is what we would use going forward. You know, if you looked at the Director IO curriculum, there's a foundational advance and there's a mastery. You know, so this foundational course, we have to get it properly right because this is where we ask a lot of this is where we put in a lot of the foundational bricks, right, of the concepts and the ideas and the value of what you're trying to pass through, pass to you, right, in terms of the knowledge, right, aside from all the projects, but it's this stage where you have a deep understanding of what it really is, right? So I'm very, very excited and also very careful about this aspect of the course of the program. So that's why I'm trying to know where we are. After each course, we're going to do this. We'll have to ask you some questions on, okay, what did we gain? What did we understand? Where are we? What are the confusions to be sure that I don't leave anybody or try to try do my possible best to not leave anyone behind. All right. So moving on, we're going into the next course we want to talk about, which is cyber hygiene. Right. Now this aspect of the foundational course, this course in the foundational program is really just giving us an idea of how we should live in this digital world in terms of cybersecurity, right? You know, I know you might have noticed that I really like using a lot of scenarios, use cases, and sometimes storytelling, to really drive down some of this concept that might be difficult to understand. So I really hope my stories and use cases don't get too much, but I believe it really helps drive down these ideas deep into what we are discussing. So the first thing I want to talk about, I was trying to say is in the cyber hygiene, um, among my personal group of friends, there is a joke they always say. Anytime they want to ask me any questions about tech in general, the next thing they say a joke. They say, your password is too weak. Because I made it a thing of policy when talking to them, and probably maybe we are hanging out and I say, oh, guy, please give me the password to your hotspot or your Wi Fi. And they give me a password. I'm like, guy, how are you using such a password? Right? Such scenarios, such situations, such at some point it became an anthem where anytime they tell me anything, I'm like, how is this your password? I've seen someone's password that is 12345 6. I've seen someone's Wi-Fi password, a home Wi-Fi. The password is 1234. And I'm like, the first I'm like, I don't understand. What kind of password are you using? I hope you don't perform any critical activity on this Wi-Fi. Those sort of things. That it's very funny, but I'm trying to say that, when I talk about cybersecurity to people, I try to remind people that it's more than just some configuration, some systems, some setups, right? It's more or less an idea, a frame of mind. Okay. Very recently, I wrote an exam, a cybersecurity exam, more or less a governance and compliance and audit exam in cybersecurity for setting up information systems, information security systems, a management system, right? But this was what caught me by surprise in the exam, right? I was preparing for weeks for that exam. And then the exam is about the ISO 27001. And the ISO 27001, it's a massive policy or standard that you need to adhere to, right? Or any good organization needs to adhere to ensure they have a very strong information security management system. But this is the gist here. The information from ISO 27001, it's a lot, right? It's not something you can even cram in. In fact, there is a part of the ISO 27001 that talks about picking security controls to implement, and there are 93 controls to implement. And the policy or the law says that, or the standard says that you don't just do guesswork and pick out of the 93. You are meant to look at and audit or review the entire 93 controls and then choose the one that meets your organization's needs. But you must go through the entire 93. I don't know if you get the point. So it's not like, oh, you can just choose anyone. You must actually review each and every 93 of them one by one. I've done an audit for an organization before, a cybersecurity audit for an organization before, where I had over 200 points to review on before I could give them a letter to the central bank saying these guys have audited them and they can get they're adhering to the framework, right? So it's a lot of work. So I'm talking about the exam in question, the exam I took, right? I was really worried about the amount of information I had to remember. First of all, the controls, there was no way I could remember 93 of them. I think I remember like 10 max. I was really worried about the amount of information. And that controls is just one aspect of the whole standard. There's a whole lot of aspects that you need to do before you even get to implementing those controls. So I was really worried about the amount of information I could do. And then the exam started and it was really scenario based. But something surprised me. They actually would give you access to the material, that is the documentation about the standard. But then they throw you questions based on scenario. So they'll be like, okay, this is a scenario. Now, this is what's happening in this scenario. Now, based on the standard, what are you meant to do in this scenario? Or what has been done right? Or what has been done wrong? Or what is the next step? It's questions like that. That's how it works. So the documentation is a guide for, because they know you cannot remember that entire information. So the idea is look at the documentation, use it as a guide to remember all the necessary documentation and the policies and the controls and whatnot, right? But then the question or the trick in this exam is it's not about what you can remember. It's about what you understand. Do you understand the actual concepts of implementing that control? So the documentation is there. Not the documentation did not have answer to any of the questions, right? The only thing documentation had was verification. Oh, is this what this policy says? Is this the control for this? Is this what this should be? That is what it was there for. It didn't answer any question because all questions were scenario based. You need to answer and justify why this is your answer. And it has to make sense. So, point is, it was a very exciting exam, but where I'm heading to with all this conversation is it goes back to the fact that cybersecurity is way beyond a setup, a configuration, an implementation, a test, a scan. No, that's not cybersecurity. That's just one out of the massive, part of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is about the idea, the concepts, the hygiene. And this course is about cyber hygiene, cybersecurity hygiene. How should you, as a cybersecurity person, act and be in a cybersecurity in this digitalized world? I know an ethical hacker. I don't want to call him an ethical hacker because I know that he has actually done some unethical things before. But then most of the time, he's an ethical hacker. I think he's more or less in the grey hat subsidiary. But I know this hacker that there was a point he has been hacking for a while, years and years. He's been a hacker for years. He was among those that started hacking in Nigeria when hacking first even, in fact, the idea of hacking had not even settled in Nigeria. And this guy, was given, was told me or told us, because I wasn't the only one, that at some point when he had hacked to a certain level, he deleted all his social media access. You cannot reach this guy through social media. In fact, the only social media he uses is WhatsApp, and it's because of work. And he doesn't put any information of his online. He even is a bit concerned about using mobile banking apps. He only uses ATMs. And this was because he has seen so much and he has learned so much and he has experienced so much of what's possible in this digital world that he's now extra careful and extra scared, right? And so that is I'm not trying to scare anybody, right? I'm just saying that's the level. It's like when cybersecurity goes beyond the work and now becomes a part of your life. It now becomes a lifestyle. So what he has seen has gone beyond just a simple work for him, but it's now a lifestyle. And that's what cyber hygiene is all about. We are going to take you through some of the things that you should know, giving you some scenarios, talk about a few concepts that you might want to know about when talking about cybersecurity hygiene. And that's what this is all about. Okay. So first of all, the first thing we'll talk about is basic cybersecurity. Right? Basic cybersecurity. Now, in this basic cybersecurity, the modules we talk about why cybersecurity is needed. We also explain and discuss that everything is vulnerable. We'll also touch about the fact that we all have a role in cybersecurity. Okay. Now, first question is why do we need cybersecurity? Why is cybersecurity needed? Now, we need to know, we need to know a little. Now, this is not just about you trying to learn about cybersecurity as an actual course, right? This is trying to actually tell you on default, every digital user should know this about cybersecurity, right? For example, the reason is cybersecurity is becoming a mandatory life skill in 2024 and beyond. It's now a mandatory life skill. Let me explain why it's a mandatory life skill. Not obviously being a cybersecurity expert, but having an understanding of at least cyber hygiene. The reason it's a life skill is very simple. Every day, there's this guy on YouTube called Scam Beta. What he does is he goes online and exposes scammers and fraud networks. Most of them are Indian groups, but that's what he does. So he gets a wind of you, he starts tracking you, and then hacks you, and then takes control of your entire environment, your computer. Sometimes he even takes control of the CCTV. He really hacks them, right? And then he will now expose them, and he records it and uploads it on YouTube. You get, and there are actually some people he has caught multiple times. Sometimes when he catches them, he reports them to the Indian, because most of them, a lot of them were Indians. I think he caught some Nigerians based out of Cyprus one time, but a lot of them were Indians. Really, if you just look at that, that's what he does. And one of the things that I noticed was that most of the scams that those Israeli Indians that were doing, they call it the Amazon scam. So what they do is they reach out to people, mostly old, I'm sorry, but elderly, aged people, mostly Americans. They reach out to them, tell them they're calling from Amazon. It seems like their system, and there's something wrong. They've discovered that they have a certain gift card that was paid for and is still pending and stuff like that. And the thing is, it's so weird, but because of the number of Indians in the tech support rooms, anytime an Indian man calls you and says he's from Amazon tech support or from Microsoft tech support or from any tech support company or any tech support of any company, it's very easy to believe, because a lot of them actually, not to stereotype, but it's what it is. A lot of them actually have been seen in that role. So whenever these Indian scammers call and say, oh, they're from Amazon tech support, there is really no doubt. There is a belief immediately. Now they then start giving them stories of how there's something on the Amazon account and there's a gift card and something and something and something. And then they now encourage, tell them, okay, you know what, let them help them. They'll give them they'll tell them some things to do that they hope will be difficult for them to do. And most times they will not get to the level where they tell them, okay, you know what, let me help you do it. Kindly download AnyDesk. You download AnyDesk. Then I say, okay, tell me exactly, text you. Tell me um the AnyDesk pin. They give the AnyDesk pin. They will then remotely connect to them. Those the targets, the people that are being scammed would log into the Amazon account. These guys would then take the Amazon account and do some things and tell them, oh, everything is fine. But what happens that you don't know is most times they would then initiate what they call permanent access. So what it means is anytime these guys open their systems and anytime the AnyDesk is up, automatically these guys have remote access to your computers. So what they now do, they now use it to buy a lot of Amazon gift cards, a lot. There are sometimes they even convince the targets to purchase the gift cards themselves. I've seen scenarios where scam beta would actually have to would directly reach out to those people being stolen from and tell them that please don't go and buy that gift card. It's a scam. There's actually been a scenario where he reached out to the lady, an elderly, an aged lady. Right? He reached out to her. She was now saying that he was the scam, and he was like, I'm here trying to help you. I've been monitoring what's going on. I've been seeing what he's doing. I'm trying to, because they hack them, they said that they monitor the entire system. And they said, I'm trying to stop you from giving your money to him. And the lady would not believe. And then they said that he would then, sometimes he now goes ahead to call the authorities to stop her from spending that money or buying the gift card and sending it to them or whatever. Sometimes he even tries to reach out to any of her relatives, hack her herself, get her details, reach out to her relatives to stop her from making such decisions. So he's just doing it for free. Nobody's paying him. The most he gets is the YouTube views. And then some people actually sponsor it personally. But the point I'm making is that's the level we are, where we need to have a simple cyber hygiene skill. And a simple cyber hygiene skill is, why are you allowing an unknown person that called you to have access to your computer? Because for what reason? There is no reason for that. So it's a mandatory life skill now because these hackers and scammers are everywhere. So it's mandatory for you to actually understand the basics. Don't give them your password. Don't give them your PIN. Nobody would ever ask you for your PIN, your password, or any secret information given to you by any system, both Google, both Microsoft, both your bank. Nobody is meant to ask you. So the minute someone starts asking you for that, there's something fishy. Also, another reason why we all need to know some little of cybersecurity is factor. We've not learned it anywhere. There is nowhere we've got the opportunity to learn cyber hygiene. It's now that it's becoming a thing where they talk about in schools and try to teach kids at a very young age, but it has never been a thing before. All right. Now, another one is um, as I said, seldomly included in school curriculums. So I said that it's now that they're trying to put it, but it's still not like a key aspect of the curriculum. But it's something that a lot of people are really seeing as the future, and they have to take it a bit more seriously, right? I'm really impressed with some schools that now have cybersecurity as a course of its own. I know there's some Nigerian air defense school, one defense university that in Nigeria actually has it. Another very top school that does cybersecurity, which is very impressive, is Bayero University, and I think FUTA and a couple other universities, I think Babcock and the rest, are now actually having cybersecurity as a course of its own. And it's pretty impressive. That is the next level. That's the level we've gotten to now, right? So this is why we all need to know a little cybersecurity. As I said, hygiene. But then for us, we're going to know way more than little, right? Okay. Then moving on. Now, this is just some convincing figures. As I said, I'm really trying to not scare anybody here, but it is what it is. I always like to say, this is just what it is. In 2020, $10.3 billion loss in US due to cybercrime, according to the FBI in 2020 alone. Also, in 2024, it is projected that $452.3 billion, there's a projected loss of $452 billion due to cybercrime in 2024 in the US. That is what the loss looks like. Now, for some local numbers, okay, we're not done. In 2028, it's projected that there should be a $1.8 trillion loss in cybersecurity, to cybercrime. Now, to bring some numbers locally, I can tell you this for a fact. In Nigeria, there is no year that no top bank in Nigeria was not hit by cyber attack or a fraud. Either cyber attack or a cyber fraud, one of them. I know of a bank in Nigeria that actually lost 300 million naira. I know it's not much in dollars, but it's a lot in Nigeria, in naira, right? 300 million naira. It's a fraud, cyber fraud. I also know of a bank in Eastern Africa that lost almost $1 million very recently. I think it's early this year. And as I said, it wouldn't stop. Everybody gets hit every time. I know I have had a personal experience, two personal experiences with some banks I've worked with in the past where I have sleepless nights because they were hit. One of them was hit by ransomware. Oh, I didn't sleep. In fact, it was so bad that we had a call all through Saturday night. I still tried and pushed myself to go to church Sunday morning thinking everything was all good. While in church, I received a call that what we thought we fixed wasn't fixed. And I had to run back. I literally ran out of the church and go back to join the meeting to fix that problem. That was my experience in um, that was last year. It was sometime last year. So this is just a simple point. Just give me a few seconds, guys. Sorry. All right, guys. So sorry. Had to attend to someone at the door. All right. Okay. So as I was saying, that's actually what the cyber hygiene looks like, on a normal sense. Now, the thing here is, it has become a growing issue in real time. So now we must stay very vigilant and we must tackle this massive threat and cybercrime. Everybody must now actually play a part in reducing cybercrime. And then to lower risk of losing money or something more valuable, we must tackle this head on. Okay, so now what can we do? One, you can help your families and organizations to stay safe online. One, by probably telling your family members things they should and shouldn't do online. In terms of your organization, don't worry, there's a cybersecurity team if you're not part of that team. But as a staff, you should there are some things you should do as a staff, like some things you shouldn't let happen when it comes to cybersecurity. Okay, so things you shouldn't do. It helps your organization stay safe. For cybersecurity experts, you always say that the staff are our problem. They are our biggest problem. If you ask a cybersecurity guy, what's your biggest challenge? He'll tell you, it's the staff. They are our biggest challenge. So we need to help our organization stay safe online by our own work. We need to be able to spot when we are a target of a cyber attack. I don't know if anyone has ever experienced it, but have you ever received this sketchy email that says things like, "Oh, I have seen you. I've been watching you for 4 days. I know who you are. I know what you've been doing. I've recorded you. I've seen you do nasty stuff. And if you don't want me to release your videos and share to all your family and friends, share me $1,000 via Bitcoin now." I don't know if anyone here has ever experienced that.
But that's scary though.
Oh, I have experienced it multiple times. In fact, this is how I knew. So
Wow.
this is yeah. So it's very funny because this is how I actually experienced it, right? Um, I got an email, official email actually, on my official email. Um, I got an email and I saw it in my spam, and the email read something like, "You are owing so." I was like, "Ah, what's going on?" I opened the email. I started reading. Now this is where I knew it was all a bluff. It was just a bluff. It's a bluff. This is how I knew it was a bluff. So when people resign in my organization, what we do is we redirect their email, we forward their emails to either their team members or wherever, someone that can just be taking note, someone that can be taking notes of some of the things happening. So when you send an email to that person, it gets redirected to someone that's still in the organization. So I had like two people that left my team, so their emails were redirected to me. So any email sent to that mailbox comes to me, right? So the first flag was the email wasn't sent to me. It was sent to one of the people that had left. So I knew this wasn't to me, right? And then it then started breaking down. I started telling that person they sent the email to that they installed a worm. They've been watching them for weeks. They've been seeing all nasty things they've been doing. They also recorded them. That's not a problem. They're not going to still give anybody, but for them to not to give anybody, pay this amount of money. I'm like, to their Bitcoin account. I'm like, these people are not serious. Then next thing, I got an email like that exact same format on my own email. And then that exact same format was sent to the third person. Then I knew there was something was up, right? Our email addresses has been probably someone has found our email address on the internet and thought would be a good place to bluff, But then I know for a fact that you cannot take control of my device through my email because I understand these things. So they claim that they took advantage of our email, and stuff like that. But I knew that was all a scam. But then I didn't panic. All I just did was to be safe. What I did was I ensured all forms of recording around me on all my personal devices. I sealed it. I sealed my cameras on my device, on my computers and my phones for like a week because I was doing an investigation. So I kept on doing investigation, and then they made a mistake. This is the mistake they did. They then sent another one saying that I took control of your email using, they wrote the password. And the password they wrote, that password had not been, I changed that password over 2 years ago. So meaning that what they've been doing is they've been looking for anybody whose password was exposed on the dark web. And then with that uh, concept of you being exposed, you now give you this threat and make you feel scared that if your password is exposed, they obviously must have hacked you, and then they've watched you, and then you know, I said, what have they watched you doing? All those kind of things, and then they say they're watching your private moments. You now start thinking, when you go to bed, is your laptop on? Is your phone on? Those funny questions. And the funny thing was when I did my research, I was like, ooh, it's a new scam. It's a bluff scam. Get you scared and push you to send that money. Especially for those that have that money lying around, they just drop it. Sometimes it's $100, sometimes it's $1,000, sometimes $500, depending. And it's so funny. But most times don't have, at least for my experience, I know they didn't have any form of access or control to me whatsoever. But that's the point. That's the point here. you know, you need to be able to know when you are target. Because what happened is when I started seeing those emails, I changed my whole policy. First of all, I changed all my passwords. I started being extra careful. I started taking note of every email I got. I started being extra watchful. I started testing my environment, even my organization environment, to see are we weak, have we been exposed, have we been exploited, have we been hacked. I set up a threat intelligence platform, hooked my environment's domain to it. Anytime any of our emails get exposed, we get an alert. I just started doing a lot of work to at least be more vigilant, right? But you need to be able to spot when you are the target of an attack and then what are you going to do about it. Now, the first thing to do when you're the target of an attack is, especially for attacks on you directly, the first thing you should try to do is change all your passwords. As much as possible, change all your important passwords. It's very key. Change all your important passwords. Then don't download or install anything new for a while. Don't install, don't download, don't install, don't click anything new for a while. Just to be sure that there is no malware. Upgrade your antivirus and perform antivirus scans. Next thing, try to perform as much antivirus scans as you can. Try to see if there's any virus or any malicious device in the environment. Then you've done the best you could. The rest, so if you're now an expert, like maybe you're in charge of an organization's security, they now have to start improving your security controls and protections, probably set up a new technology, and all those things, right? But point is, you don't need to get scared. This is what you can do because it happened a lot. Okay, now it's good to note that everything is connected to each other and they are all connected to the internet. The digital world we have come to be or to live in is now one that everybody and everything is connected to themselves. Everybody and everything is connected to themselves. I'm connected to you, you are connected to me, we are all connected together. So if you make a mistake or you get hacked, I can get hacked. In fact, what it means is anybody can hack you because we are all connected now. Do you understand? A hacker in um, Latvia, I just was thinking of the most obscure country I could think of. Latvia. Or there is this country I read about very recently. I was surprised they have in a country. It's in Oceania. I've forgotten their name. Tamer Island, something of that sort. So there could be a hacker there, and you could be hacked, and he could just target you. You just come into his radar, and he throws some attacks on you, some malware on you. So anybody can attack you. Attack from anywhere now. Right? That's the level we're in. So as well as our loved ones, the internet connects us to all forms of hackers. Some of the hackers, I think I must have mentioned some of them, like we have hacktivists, we have criminals, we have corporate espionage, we have nation state espionage, we have terrorists. So these are also some form of threat actors on the internet. We have people that are hacking for activism, we have people that are hacking for terrorism, we have cyber criminals that are hacking to steal, we have those that are hacking to steal from another company, companies stealing data from each other. And we have those that are hacking to steal from countries. All of these exist, right? So now, with our cybersecurity skills, we can become less vulnerable to cyber attacks. All right, that is what the message we're trying to. With the knowledge we have about cybersecurity, we should become less vulnerable to cyber attacks. But then, it's also good to note and understand that everything is vulnerable. And that's the reason why, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last session or in my last two classes, but that's the reason why we always say that there is no 100% secure environment. Everybody is hackable. Everything is hackable. Everything is exploitable. Because nothing is 100% secure. You could feel you are so secure. Let me give you an example, if I've never given this before. I think I have, where I mentioned about how a man went for an interview, right? And he got images of his family instead of the interview he went for. And they were threatening his family, saying he needed to give them his password because they needed his password to complete the attack. Now, the company he works for feel they've done everything they can think of in terms of cybersecurity, locked up everywhere. They are fully secure. But then, because they threaten your key staff, they threaten his family, the tendency of him breaking is very high, right? And then all the security put in place comes crashing down. So it's very important to understand that nothing is impenetrable. Another example, which I feel is fun for me personally, is so I led a team to do a test in a customer's environment 3 years ago. 2022, okay, no, that's 2 years ago. 2022, beginning of 2022, right? I led a team to go and do a test there. And it was one of the most difficult tests I've done, right? My pen testers found it really difficult. I analyzed the environment. I did ask questions, tested, designed the architecture, said, okay, this is where the floor should be. We were not able to find anything. was a very difficult test. Testing that the customer rejected it and no, that you can't say we didn't see anything at all, that sort of a thing, and then just last week, I traveled to that same customer environment. They called us back for another test this time, and my team has actually obviously improved and grown and expanded and changed. And then went for the test this time. And in 2 days, we were able to take control of most of their local administrators on almost all their subnets. And I felt so excited. Because I remember how 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure they felt on top of the world and we felt really messy because we were not able to find anything in the environment and they seemed like they were very secure. And then all of a sudden, 2 years in, we're able to break you down. So because we didn't find anything 2 years ago, doesn't mean this year we're not going to break it down. Because everything is vulnerable. Everybody can be hacked. No remainder. For example, Nick. Let's use Nick as an example, right? Nick has a software, and his software is able to control access to a computer, control access to an application, control access to your bank account, and then can also control who drives your car. For those of us that for the world where we are getting to smart cars that drive themselves. This is how risky it is. If his software can take control of your computer, of the application on your computer, of your bank account, as well as who drives your car, you see the risk behind those smart cars. The risk behind them is catastrophic. There is a movie I saw that said something about the movie isn't This Is the End. I think the movie is something related to trying to remember what exactly it was, but the movie was pretty it's the movie is I really can't remember the details of the movie, right? But I can't remember the name. But one of the things that happened is apparently they said that the country was under attack, and they destroyed all form of communications, destroyed power, and then destroyed road access. Do you know how they destroyed road access? By bringing millions of smart cars, smart vehicles, and putting them and confining them or setting them up on the road, on all the major access roads. Right? That is what is possible, and that's the state we are. That's why everything is now vulnerable. Okay. Then let's see another example. We have a username and we have a password from Bob. I see his password is quite difficult password actually, if you're being honest. Now this is Bob's files. People, resumes, vacancies, and reviews. Now, Nick is testing the password, right? And then he thinks, what if he adds a secret password to use in testing the app, sorry, the application or the software he's building? And then he adds this password, secret password. And then you can see that what he has done is in this is software. So remember, this is Bob's login to the software. Okay, and this is Bob's files to that software that Nick built. But Nick decided to put in a secret password to use for testing the application whenever he wants. Now, what that means is anytime he wants, he has a backdoor to the application. He has a backdoor to Bob's files. You see the risk there. Now, Nick left a backdoor on that software that he built, and he released that software. If anybody ever finds that backdoor that Nick created, it's a big problem. You see the idea here? So this is just a way of explaining what a backdoor is. And so he's trying to tell us that when building applications, be very, very careful to ensure your app developers or software developers do not add backdoors to the system. It's very important. Because if they do, you'll be in a whole lot of problem. That's what this explains. This is explaining what is possible when a backdoor is set up. Okay? Great. So just to speed up a bit, as I said, this is just a cyber hygiene. It's not anything really major. So the internet has changed things because Um, Now that software is now on the internet, and then everybody has seen that vulnerability, and then people sell knowledge of vulnerabilities right now because the internet has really changed a lot of things. Okay, so basically that is what it can be. Now these days, knowledge of some vulnerabilities can be sold for over $1 million. Those my passwords, those old passwords I told you about that was leaked. That people said it was leaked on the dark web, and then those guys were using it to use to bluff us. Do you really think? Do you really, 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 really think that they got those things for free? It was leaked on the dark web, and they bought it off someone. Knowledge on weaknesses is now being shared on the dark web. It was bought off someone. Okay, so this is also an example. This is the password that software I mentioned. This is a simple login of the software, right? So then, okay, so basically, as I said, vulnerabilities are one of the issues, and these threat actors love vulnerabilities a lot. Now, it's good for us to know that we all have a cybersecurity role. Each and every one of us have a role to play in cybersecurity. Although there are information security professionals in our organizations, which we are all trying to become, cybersecurity also relies on each and every one of us cooperation. Just like software, we have vulnerabilities attackers try to take advantage of. That is we ourselves. Okay, so this is an example of a simple attack. Right? This is an email from enforcement@parking.gov.co to Jack Doe at globalmantics.com. The subject is parking enforcement penalty. On Monday, 1st January at 10 a.m., your vehicle was parked illegally. The local department has reportedly tried to contact you without success. You now are required to pay an increased fixed penalty of $400. If payment is received within 2 days of this notice, the penalty will be reduced to $100. Right? You can view the details of the infringement, including pictures of your illegally parked vehicle, by clicking here. Please note that failure to pay the penalty results in prosecution and may result in imprisonment. Federal parking enforcement. Right? Now see this email. It looks pretty legitimate, right? Okay, and you most likely get scared. I'm like, oof, what's going on? You most likely click that link. Our emotional subconscious brain is our vulnerability, and it's faster than our logical brain. Thus, our human vulnerability allows us to click the link, causing us to share credentials or send money to an attacker without thinking properly. Sometimes that link might be a link to install a malware in your system without you knowing, right? So that's why we need to be very careful. Has anybody here seen such an email before? Anybody here, have you ever experienced such an email before?
Yes.
Exactly. And what did you do?
I deleted it.
Awesome. Good. That's great to hear. So we already having that hygiene somewhere. Okay. So we all need to know some basic cybersecurity skills as life skill. That is just basically the message of that cyber hygiene. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is phishing. Right? Phishing. So phishing phishing slide is what I want to share now, because that's the next thing you might want to know. Okay. So let me stop sharing my screen to share again. Okay. So let me. Okay. So sorry, just trying to get it all up. So I'm sharing another screen. I'll quickly run through it because it's all the same. It's just expanding on what we've discussed already. As I said, today is just this 2 hours for today is looking through cyber hygiene, letting us have a feel and an understanding of what that looks like and what that feels like. Okay. Yep. Then we would go into operating systems security. Okay. So let's get it. Let me know. Just react when you can see the screen.
Yes.
Awesome. So this slide, we just talk about this slide and we'll touch one more slide, which is phishing, and then we'll be done for this session. Right. So this slide, we talk about we focus on the attackers right now, right? Who are they? How do they trick us? And then when do they do more than just tricking us, right? So that is what we're talking about here. Now, first of all, who are these attackers? I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned a few of them before. I mentioned nation state hackers, espionage, cyber criminals. Look at cyber criminals looking like picky blinders, right? Um, um, Activists and terrorists, cyber terrorists as well. Right? This is just a simple thing. But why do they attack? So attackers have different motivations. Each of these guys here are motivated for different reasons. Some is financial gain, some is corporate espionage is for their company, stealing data, some is for the country. Some those guys, the nation state espionage, those ones will be feeling like they'll feel like a true patriot working for their country. The activists have a different reason. The cyber terrorists have a different reason as well. Get it? Now, also, each and every one of them have different capabilities. For example, a cyber criminal is nowhere near as experienced or as skilled as your nation state espionage. The guys that do nation state espionage are the ones we call the advanced persistent threats because they are really experienced, really good, and most times highly funded by their nations, their countries. So the capacity and capability they have is way more than the guys that are just stealing to make money. And also more than the guys that are doing activism, because the activism guys, they're just really skilled, but then they don't have any money to support what they are doing. So it's basically based off on their skill. The terrorists also are pretty scary. So each and every one of them have different motivations as well as different capability. And each and every one of them also have different targets. For example, most cyber terrorists are not targeting you and I. Most cyber terrorists are targeting countries' reserve, like maybe the power generation company of the country, for example. Activists would also most likely be targeting some corporate organizations and sometimes country, or sometimes some really well-known individuals, maybe celebrities. Cyber criminals are the ones that are targeting everybody. As long as they think you have money, you are a target for cyber criminals. Corporate espionage, obviously, they'll be targeting companies, especially companies that are doing what they do, so they can get an advantage. Nation state hackers focused on other countries or big ministries in that country. I actually I got a story. I don't know how true it is, so I have to leave it open for verification, right? But this was even before the Ukraine-Russia war, and the point was there were a group of Russians that came into Nigeria some years back. I think it's actually not even too far. I think it was 2020 or 2021. Or thereabout, not so far, not even 2022, it's very possible. It's pretty recent, apparently. And these Russians, when they came to Nigeria, they didn't go to meet countries and to meet companies and whatnot. They came for the government agencies. They came for government agencies that handle Nigerians' data, like our statistics bureau, the guys that are in charge of our IT in Nigeria. I think it's Galaxy Backbone. Went to meet likes of the NIMC, went to meet likes of CBN, NIBSS, guys that have very important data of Nigerians. Went to meet INEC, went to meet what they call those guys, the guys in charge of the population board. I forgot what they call them. Went to meet all of these people, right? Now, the idea is they met them and said that they wanted to offer them a certain satellites to improve services, make their data faster, make them have access to any information, whatever it is they wanted. It was meant to be a very unique technology that would actually help improve our day-to-day services. But the person that caught on them, the person that gave me this conversation, worked for the person that caught on them, and the gist was they suspected there was something fishy because they were offering it for free. They said that it is a policy or a certain mandate from their government to go and support, to use it to go and support and enable developing countries or underdeveloped countries like Nigeria. And so they caught a wind of the fact that that wasn't all it was meant to do. Apparently, the use of that satellite or whatever they were giving them was going to also help, aside from obviously doing what they said it would do, was also going to help exfiltrate all Nigerians' data to Russia. I don't know what they wanted to use with that information, but the trick is they wanted to steal as much data about Nigerians as they could from the source, which is the government. Now, why am I saying it is? I'm saying that is the kind of thing a nation state hacker will be looking for. He doesn't care about you and me. He looks at how can I take the other country down. You get it? So I just need to use that as an example to explain that point. Now, as I said, they have different motivations, capabilities, as well as targets. They have different, each of these attackers have different. Now, also, to give an example, for the cyber criminals, their motivation is money. Their capability, organized crime. They don't really care about any other thing. They just want to steal. The techniques, they do things like fraud, extortion, like what I explained, the mail I got, theft as well, cyber theft. Targets, everyone is their targets. Both random people target everyone as long as you have one. Now, I say activists. Activist motivation is the believed cause. Their capability is really low damage. They just want you to listen to them. Techniques is disruption. They just want to scatter things, just make things not work the way they should. Their targets are highly targeted people. They don't just attack anybody. And corporate espionage guys, their motivation is to get business advantage. They have high capability. Techniques is to steal intellectual property most times. And also, they take time to pick their targets. Nation state spies, national advantage. They have extremely high capability. Man, I mentioned that these guys are very, very skilled. Their techniques, theft of information or disruption, and targets, highly targeted as well. Terrorists, their motivation is a certain cause, whatever the cause is, just like whatever cause the cause might be. Their capability is usually moderate, but sometimes can be really high. Techniques, damages, and disruption, and also PT targeted. Now, just felt you should add this, how TV and movies portray cyber attackers and what cyber attackers look like in real life. So this is who they portray, right? This is who you guys see, right? This is actually what they do and look like in real life, right? Trying to look for a way to hack you. So there is not what TV is telling you. Now, this is what it feels like in real life. A team is allocated to perform a cyber attack. It might take also up to 1 month of work. There's usually a project manager that's managing every activity. There is a plan, a project plan. There is a budget to perform that task. Then there are technical hackers and there are people hackers. That is, there are people that are performing, like the technical hackers, the ones that actually perform the implementation of digital services and the IT infrastructure. The people hackers are not trying to perform some of social engineering, trying to manipulate the people and get information and steal. That is the kind of thing you see in real life. It's not what TV is showing you that they press some buttons and in 10 minutes they're in. Okay? Now, attackers are smart and persistent. I've mentioned this to people. I tell people that the same way you and I wake up in the morning and go out to work, we dress up, dress fine, wear perfume, and leave work, is the same way an attacker, a hacker, wakes up in the morning, freshens up, sits in front of the screen, and asks himself, "Who am I hacking today?" They are smart and persistent, or you can even say consistent. They don't stop until they get it. So we also need to be smart and we also need to be persistently careful. Okay? Now, how do criminals then trick you into sending them your money? One of them is business email compromise, like the email I showed you guys earlier. That's a typical example of a business email compromise attack. Cyber attack designed to trick you into sending your organization's money to a criminal, right? We also have things. This is an example of the email, just like what we showed you earlier, right? See what they told you. See an example. I need to urgently make a wire transfer of $15,000 to our Indian law firm. The account details are below. You see? It's simple. Simply, just like that. You see it from your CEO. Now, that is obviously not the CEO of your company, but that's the kind of thing you see. I'm working on a top secret project that no one else in the company knows about. We're about to make a significant acquisition in India. It's happened and it's worked before. Now, another one can be voicemail. It's Mary, voice message, a voice call. It's Mary, I'm leaving you this message because I have a super important secret job for you to do. First in the morning, when you get to the office, it's 8 a.m. and we're about to pull off a spectacular deal here in India. It's so secret that I can't even mention it on the phone, but I need you to send a wire transfer as soon as you get to work, or this is an email I sent you. Right? Now, this is business email compromise. Now, Mary got an email from, or Alice got an email from her CEO telling her to send something urgently, or someone that seemed to be her CEO. And the CEO, who is Mary, also sent a voice note, still portraying that same information. Alice would get really worried and want to act fast and then you lose your money. Right? That's the concern. So that's what it is. Now see Mary again. Still pushing. Doesn't that seem fishy? If someone keeps disturbing you to send them a certain money, when you wouldn't have that conversation in the past, right? Right? You see this guy. This is to push Mary so push Alice so Alice doesn't ask a lot of questions. So Alice doesn't go and meet the CEO directly. This is the idea. Now, they created a fake voicemail, fake text message, fake email to convince Mary or Alice to perform that $15,000 transaction. So the answer is always validate money transfer with someone else in the company, like a financial officer. I don't know if I'm giving you guys the scenario of that happened in Singapore where someone in the finance team actually sent $20 million. And in all honesty, she did the right thing. She got a message telling her to send that money. She said no. She asked the CEO, can we please have a call? CEO said no problem and sent her a meeting, a Microsoft Teams link. She joined. She saw the CEO with his video on the call. She saw a couple other of her colleagues also on the call with their videos on. She also turned on her video. They had a meeting, confirmed everything and said there's a reason for it, confirmed the spend, and she approved that spend. But it wasn't the CEO. It was artificial intelligence that used to create a video footage of the CEO that looked like they were on a meeting with the other members of staff. So things like that, I don't ask you, how do you then verify? The idea is whenever you're being reached out on a certain way for any sort of task or information, try to reach out through another means of communication. So they reached out to her via Microsoft Teams saying, please send this money. She asked for a meeting, they sent her Microsoft Teams link. What she should have done is when she saw that thing, when she asked, in fact, before she even asked for a meeting, reach out to your CEO through WhatsApp or call him. Or if you can, walk directly to his office and say, look, sir, did you tell me to send this money? Right? That is what you can do. So always validate money transfer at any point in time. For example, you see an example, what she said. Director at Global, or a director sent a mail to Alice. Now, this is it. Director requested something from Alice. Now, it's good to notice that anytime someone asks you for gift card request, 9 times out of 10, if not all times, it's a criminal request. Because most people don't need gift cards, right? It's usually a criminal request from criminals, always. You see another example of email that can actually cause us problems. All right, supplier payments, also very important. This one is one I know, I've seen happen multiple times. I know how many times I've actually got mails that saying, oh, yeah, this supply that you need to pay for, you need to clear. And I'm like, Nah, this isn't for me. Right? So it's also good to also be very, very careful about such things as well. Okay. Now, as I said, gift cards are for gifts and not for payments as well. So be very careful about gift card, please. Very, very careful. Now, large organizations have good cybersecurity, but suppliers and service providers have less cybersecurity, sometimes no cybersecurity. So most times people would attack these small guys and use them and see if they can use them to come into these big guys, 8 times out of 10. So supplier attacked to attack you. That's exactly what I'm saying. They attack the supplier, get access to firms' computers, send fake email to the organization. The organization pays the attacker, but the supplier's bank doesn't see the money. It happened before, multiple times. The Lazio football scam that is suspected to have been orchestrated by Hush Puppy, it was this same kind of thing. Hacked one of them and used it to send the wrong email with the wrong account details. Right? I don't know if that makes some sense to you guys. So these are just some of the scenarios that people can be attacked and how it works. So I'll just speed up a bit more, around this stuff. So as I said, always verify change of bank account numbers from the suppliers first by calling their trusted line. As I said, always look for another means of communication. Whatever means you're using to communicate now, if you start seeing suspicious things in that communication line, the greatest suspect is that communication line has been compromised. Change it. Don't keep using it. Call, send a text message, chat, physically go to their office if possible, but don't use that same communication line. Now, see where a company can be attacked to actually attack you, the consumer. If a hacker actually has access to the company's computers, he sends an email telling you, the customer, to pay for whatever service to his own account, and then you pay the attacker instead of the company. And before sending any huge sums, always validate the account number by talking to someone you know at the company. Always important. Now, when attackers do more than trick you, this is an example. I'm part of the Bad Place Cyber Gang and would really like to break into your company's computer systems. Will you be able to reply to this email using our password? This would be really helpful. It's actually a very, very funny one. Okay. Now, this is a typical example. Ignore that email. That's just a funny email, right? Nobody will ever send you that email saying they want to hack you. Right? But this is a typical example. They sent you something with a file. He sent you something with a file. You then open that file. The file takes you, to log in, right? You put in your login and you think you're good. But then that's the end. But then that's the end. You don't know, but what happens is you have been hacked. They've stolen your password, basically. That is what it is. At that moment, your password has been stolen. All right. So it's always good for us to be very careful because that's one of the fastest things they can do. Give you a link, download. In fact, I have done it before where I create a dummy website, okay, get people to sign up, and you put in your password and it runs. And it's, in fact, let me show you guys one right now. Let's do it so you see what I'm talking about. Sorry, I'll just use my second device and just see if I have my stuff running. Let me see if I have my Zfisher running. Zfisher is running. CV PyFisher. Let me see if PyFisher is working. No, not GoFisher. Let's see if PyFisher is working. PY. Okay, you know what? While this keeps loading, don't worry, it would work. I've tried another one. It would work when it's up and running. I'll show it to you. I will show what exactly I just explained, Bob. To not have to avoid wasting too much time, let's just jump on the next thing I wanted to show us, which I actually have two more slides I want to run through very quickly. And one was phishing and email security best practices, and then I want to talk about password and secure authentication best practices. Those are the two things I wanted to run through real quick. Okay, let me get this. Why is Cloudflare waiting? It's the time to load. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So want to round off talking about phishing and email security, then round up with password best authentication and secure password best practices. So for the email and phishing security, right? First of all, this phishing is a way of exploiting human vulnerabilities and human weaknesses and detecting email phishing, right? So we need to, first of all, they're exploiting human vulnerabilities. We need to also be able to detect this phishing. And then also we need to understand how phishing text messages and calls can be like, and then answer the question of why do you need to report phishing, right? So first of all, exploiting human vulnerabilities. When I keep on telling you guys and saying, oh, that that um there is no full on 100% secure environment, right? When I keep on saying that, what I'm trying to say and the message I'm trying to pass is the fact that yes, environments can be secure, but we humans are the weak links. So if we don't protect ourselves, if we're not protected, or if you know, just one mistake from the human side, the entire link breaks. And that is what this picture is showing you. That small rope in the link of the strong chain is human, is the human aspect of what we are saying, right? So that is what it is, right? Talking about exploiting human vulnerabilities. Okay. Now, phishing is a deliberate trickery of people through business communication. The idea is normally, if you wanted to go to fishing normally, you would have a bait, and your bait, you put the bait in the sea. A fish sees it, goes for the bait, it gets hooked. That's the same thing. We give you false email. Human sees it, fall for the bait, they get hacked. That's what it is. Now, phishing emails are designed for the sole purpose of tricking us. They are completely budget free, and countless of them could be sent to us. That's the scary part of it. They don't need to do much work to actually exploit and hack us using phishing emails. That's how scary it is. That's how scary this thing is. So that's why we need to um, take note of these phishing messages because it's a lot of them and it's a lot of work. Now, attackers use these to their advantage to better phish us. And then we are tricked by phishing. We're tricked by phishing emails because they interfere with our logical thinking abilities. They come to us when we are not ready, out of the blue, and 8 times out of 10, they catch us unawares and we fall. That's how scary it is. We always fall, right? So we need to be extremely careful. Now, when we first joined the internet or when we first started using internet, one of the first I started using was emails. I remember how many when I had my first email, right? I remember that experience. So but then um um you know it was good and nice, right? It made a lot of sense, but emails we're more conscious with our logical minds, right? It's something we have to plan. Okay, they sent us email. We'll think it through, write out an own email, send a reply. It seemed like an official experience. But when we see an email, who sent this email? What is this email about? What's the subject of this email? And what happens if we click the link on the email and is that a link That is what we are being trained to do. Look at it from this perspective. It's very important we have to start looking at things from this perspective. Okay? So yeah, it's good to have an understanding of these emails. Now, what happens if we click these emails? Now, normally that's how we used to look at emails because we're still fresh, we're still looking at emails with all logical and all hardworking method. Then we have adapted a fast brain that enables us to want to finish our task quite easily and quite fast. And emails are quite familiar to us, so we wouldn't want to take too much time thinking through emails, imagining it, and deciding and determining what we need to do, how we need to do it. Just, oh, it's an email. Okay, we skim read, we click the link, we authenticate. Then, before we even start thinking, what are we doing? We'd already clicked the link and even signed in before we start thinking. That is what's risky about emails. So now that is what we need to train ourselves. We need to retrain ourselves. We need to learn how to slow down before we click. We need to make sure we think before clicking. That's what we need to do. So now what it is we should think about it. Now, when we see that email, we should report a phishing attack. Now, how do we detect phishing attacks? Sorry, guys, I don't know. It's like what I set up might not work. In trying to set it up. Okay. Let me use this guy. Something wrong that is not allowing me to work. So guys, I'm trying to get that link. So what I want to show you. I want you to see it. Okay. Let's see that. Let's. I've done this before. It worked smoothly. So I'm wondering what the error might be. Okay. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's see if this will install. All right, okay, so I'm back. Yeah, so as I was saying, how do we detect phishing emails? Now, one of the things we need to do is we need to detect the false lines or the things that attackers are trying to use to get us excited or attract reflexes in our brain. So they would craft their email in a way that it will activate our reflexes. Remember when I mentioned that email that I started with email with "you are owing," and then I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I started looking at it, and that's how they do. They want you to think about it. So they make false lions. That's what we call it, false lions. And false lions are one, it's a call to action, a quick call to action. Almost always not true, but it's a quick call to action that they always push to you to do. They always tell you to click a link, open a document, download the file, or call someone or send something. Makes you curious. They always want to make you curious. One, it's also unexpected, random, takes you back. Then, time constraints. Oh, please be fast. We don't have time. In the next hour, we need it. Right? And then that is how they work. Work on your emotions as well. Work on your emotion. Get you worried, get you scared, fear of missing out to something. That's how they work. Now, when you get an email that pushes you to do any of these things, be careful. An email telling you to do an action, an email that starts makes you curious, an email that is unexpected, you're not expecting, an email that is telling you that it's time bound, and an email that is triggering an emotion. When it does those five things, you need to look worried and think about what's going on. Okay? Now, to also add, so now also still some form of email. Okay. Um, see an email from supposed PayPal. Now, see how we spot the lion. The PayPal is saying at PayPal, safety and security are our top priorities. Okay. Now it's then telling you to um we routinely monitor accounts for any unusual activity. We've taken extra precaution to confirm that your PayPal account is secure and have assigned your account with temporary limit. You will need to restore your account to reaccess your PayPal account. To restore your account within 24 hours, click this link in the below section. Follow the steps to restore your PayPal account. See, allowance spotting is telling us to do an action, right? It's also, but is that the only lion spotting that it tells us to do? Can anybody give me another point, another thing, lion spotting that it tells us to do? Another thing related to the lion spotting that it hints us to do? Anybody?
Work on your emotion.
Okay, how? How does it
And
work on
here,
the
here, okay, here say you will need to restore your account to access your PayPal account. As in from the email, PayPal account is secure and might have and have assigned your account with a temporary limit. So you feeling, that your limit is reduced, kind of.
Yeah, okay,
I don't
good.
know.
That's good. Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that. I agree. I agree. There's still another one. Another one. Any other one? Any other one? We can see there's still like two more that we can be seen here. Any other one?
And the urgency within 24 hours.
Beautiful. Time. Exactly. Thank you. Within 24 hours. Okay. Any other one? Is
The
there any other
steps
one?
to follow to restore your PayPal account.
What does it say in terms of the lion, in terms of the lion, false lion? What does it mean? Does it say curious, unexpected? Which of them does it make?
Uh, it looks like they want you to do it immediately.
Yeah, we've already ascertained the time. It's time bound. But is this not an email designed to make you curious? Especially when you just
Yes.
see a random message, PayPal is looking for you. Doesn't it trigger curiosity? That is why it's an action. And then what do you do is when you see such an email, you report it immediately. You report it immediately. So it's always advisable to slow down and consciously read the words of an email. Also, be very careful. Aside from the line spotting in the email itself, right? Be very careful in the domain. Nobody here saw the PayPal domain error. Look back at the email it was sent from and tell me the error. I'm waiting.
It's a one. It's not PayPal. It's PayPal. Then there's one. It's not
Exactly.
L. It's
Exactly.
not L.
Exactly. So there's also another thing we didn't even mention. It's not even a part of fast. The first line is talking about the content of the email. But then the first thing you should even be looking at is the domain. Is it true or is it false? That's a wrong domain. PayPal cannot send you an email from PayPal one, but it looks like PayPal, doesn't it? That's the trick. I've seen somewhere maybe you see things like a UBA group. What they will do is they'll put UB. Then you know this Greek alphabet that looks like alpha, but it's not alpha and looks in the shape of a foreign type of A. They will not put it as the A. They will not put UB, that alphabet, group.com. I've seen it a lot of times. So before you notice it, you have to look twice. If not, you think it's UBA. Do you get it? So that's good to be very, very careful with all these things. It's very, very, very good to be very careful with all these things. So that's why I said slow down and consciously read the words of the email and look out for lions. But also look out from the start. Your reading and slowing down should start from the domain and start going. You get Start going till you get here. Okay. So that's what it is. So and let me just round up. Okay, so to round up, okay, so I've already mentioned about slowing down your brain. So when you're reading emails, be very careful. Now, to round up the phishing, I want to talk about phishing text messages and phishing calls. It's also another aspect. Phishing doesn't only come through emails. You can actually get it through text messages and calls. It's still the same idea. And this is just an example. From parcel service saying that we missed you, your driver car won't be back today. Arrange your delivery here and give you a link. A malicious parcel tracking app to obtain your personal information and take money and your card details. It's happened before. Now, please, did you order anything from Kyle? No. So why are you seeing a message from Kyle? I actually know someone that on their birthday, they got a first delivery call. You know how people surprise you on your birthday now? Random gifts, right? So of course, someone randomly called and said, "Oh, hi, we are calling from so. Someone, anonymous person sent you a birthday gift and cake. I'll be coming to your house to deliver in 2 hours." You say, "Oh, okay, nice. They'll be waiting. Next they'll call and say, "I'm so sorry. I'm finding issues delivering. I don't know. I'm having issues. Can you please verify your address again?" Have you seen the error there? Why are they asking you to verify your address? I thought they were sent. The person that sent it, doesn't the person know my address? But let's say you give them the address. It's just an address, right? Then after a little bit, "Oh, so sorry. Please, there is this code that we sent to you now. Just to help us verify the that was sent to you. Just to help us verify the package." That begins to get fishy, doesn't it? I've seen someone that had that exact experience. On their birthday, the lady got that kind of message and was pushed to give those information. But then she started feeling that it was just what she now told the guy was no, that if someone sends you to me for a gift, the person should have given you all information you need to deliver that gift to me. So if you don't have that information, then send it back to that person. The person should call me and tell me sending me the gift. And that was how it ended. And the person stopped. It's happened before. And it happened to any one of us. Because phishing is not just via email, calls and text messages as well. There's a text message I actually get saying that the government has approved me to get a certain job. I should click the link below. I'm like, the government has not given me anything on my life. Isn't that now? No, now. It's not possible. So these are some of the things you need to watch out for. So it goes beyond emails. It also reaches text messages as well, right? So let's all be very, very careful about these things. Okay? Thank you. All right. So all right then. So this actually brings me to the end because every other thing is still pushing on the same concept. I think the only thing I want to message, the message I want to pass across now is for secure authentication and passwords. There are some things I want us to take back in relation to secure authentication and passwords. And they are one, with secure authentication and passwords, please and please, I want everybody here to never give their passwords to anybody. That's one. Secondly, I know before they used to say an eight character password is fine, but now 8 character password is not fine. So don't even use an 8 character password. Use more than 8 character. Right? That's two. Three, always ensure, always endeavor to change your passwords systematically, probably every 3 months, every 2 months. If you can change every month, even better. But I always advise 3 months. Every 3 months, please change your password. It's very important. Okay. Those three rules are my okay. And then your password strength, aside from just 8 character, there should be capital letter, special character, numbers, and avoid using passwords you've used in the past or passwords that look like what you've used in the past. Because there's a great tendency that that password has leaked somewhere. And if it has leaked somewhere, it can be used to figure out your next password. So even if you have another password and they look alike, maybe what you add is something a lot that will be difficult for them to pick. But avoid using password that you've used in the past. Okay? That is the message I want you guys to take. Then also, if possible, if any software application or system has the capability of installing 2FA multi-factor passwords, please don't hesitate to set up that 2FA. Don't even think about it. Set it up. Don't be worried and say, oh, I'm going to set up that 2FA. Ensure you set up that 2FA. All right? So these are some of the things I want us to take from today's session. Okay? Ensure we take these information from this session. All right? Right. So this brings me to the end. I'm just really disappointed I wasn't able to show you how I can actually send you a link with a setup, and then you click, but then it's all wrong, and then I show you what you've clicked and typed and give it to you in plain text. I'm trying to set it up, but I keep getting a lot of error for the setup. It's been a while though, but still, I shouldn't be getting that error for the setup.
No, I know.
Awesome. So in the meantime, I wanted to, okay, yeah, we're meant to set up a VM, so we can't even test what I wanted us to test. What I'm trying to get us to test right now, we will not even be able to test it, even if we wanted to. So that would even be an issue. Now, if I was going to, okay, let's test it, that would be an issue as well. So basically what's going to happen is I guess hopefully we've tried to get everything on the platform sorted out this week, so you can set up the VM, and then we can start testing, and then I can give you this 15 platform to set up and test on your own. All right. Okay then. So in the absence of no questions, I want to say thank you everyone for joining this session. Hope we learned something. We're still, as I said, still an introductory part, teaching us the concepts, teaching us hygiene, and then we will start talk about operating system and operating system security from our next session. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely rest of your day.
You too, Kevin. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.